Maya 2024. Top window, we have a menu, toolbar, shelves. In the left window, we have selection tools, transformation tools, viewport, outliner, searching tools. In the center, we have viewports, menu and its tools. On the right window, we have channel box, attributes, and modeling toolkit that is good for editing object attributes. And down we have timelines and its option. Maya has 4 type menus: main menu, sub menu, and pop menu, and mark menu. When right click in viewport or right click on an object, or hold a key and right click. On the toolbar, it contains change submenu, new scenes, open and save, selection mode, snapping tools, symmetry selection, render setting, and hypershade that is for material. And the next is a shelf. That shelf contains creating tools and editing tools that we can manage shelf from here. Create a shelf, delete a shelf, and load shelf. How to work with viewport. The first key I want to tell you is space. When hold space and hold left mouse button on Maya, you can change your viewport. Or from here, when you want to have full screen in your viewport, you should press Ctrl space. And then I want to navigate in viewport. When you hold Alt and left mouse button, you can rotate. And hold Alt and the middle mouse button, you can pan. Right mouse button, you can zoom in and zoom out. There is another key. When you press F, frame object. When you press A, frame all object. When you change your viewport like pan, zoom, and rotate, you can press home and see your default viewport. How to create, delete, and load a shelf. Come here, new shelf, and how to add the tools that we want. Go to a menu, hold Ctrl Shift and left mouse button. When you create a shelf, it saves automatically in this path: document, Maya, version, prefs, and shelves. And if you want to load, you come this path and load it. From here, load. And if you want to delete this shelf, come here and delete the shelf. Yes. I sure want to delete the shelf tools. Okay. And if you want to manage your shelves, you come here and shelf editor, shelves, and this is tools, and you can select or rename it, assign an icon, write a tooltip, a label, color, and you can save it. We want to talk about the selection tools in the Maya. First is select tools, lasso tools, and paint selection tools. It's used in the components mode. I will show you. And then select menu, select all, select bold type, deselect all, or inverse selection or similar, grow and shrink. They are used in the components mode. And here in toolbar, what kind of selection? Animation, polygon, nerves, deform. What type of selection? Hierarchy. When I group this object, when I click this, you see, nothing. When I click this and select this, you see, I select the group. I group with Ctrl G, or this, or this. I drag with the middle mouse button to cube 1. This is parent, this is a child. I select the child. I don't know that. What is parent? Now I select this and select the child. You see? I want to talk about transformation and snap. I start with transformation. Here, move, rotation, and scale, and you can a transformation object from here, channel box, translate, rotate, and scale. And shortcuts are W for move, rotation, E, scale, R. When you select one of these, you can move one axis with selecting one axis and hold middle mouse button. When you select one of this in channel box and hold middle mouse button, you can transform your object. When you select an axis, it turns yellow, as you can see in viewport. In a modeling toolkit, we have option that is good for transformation snap. This option can use for other transformation tools. And the next is snaps. Here, 3 snaps mode. First, grid. For object, snap to grid. Second is snap to curve. And the next is a snap to points, your pivot, snap to point, or vertex. And shortcuts are for grid X, for curve C, and for point V. There is another tools. It is live snap, and you can snap your object on surface. Select object and turn on the snap tools. Creating object with shift right click and drag on surface. Press G for creating again. Another snap tools is snap together. It snaps objects by normal. Pivot in Maya. Pivot is the center of the gravity every object. When you select your object and select the move tools, you see it is the center of the object. If we want to change the pivot, you press D. See? And select your pivot according to face, edge, vertex, according to another object, and then press D. If you want to reset pivot to center of object in Polygon, press this, or press D and right click and reset pivot, and press D again. Duplicating in Maya. For duplicate an object in Maya, you need to select your object and hold Shift and drag. Or for repeat this duplicating, you select Shift, drag, and then press Shift D. There is another tool for duplicate. Duplicate special in Edit menu, special, erase it. You can duplicate according to move, rotate, and scale, and this is the number of your copies. I select object, another thing is here, instance object. Select this instance object, minus and type 4, and apply. See, instance object, when you select the main object, vertex, if you want convert instance object to object, you need select object and then go to modify, convert an instance to object. History in Maya. When you create something in Maya and edit it, Maya create node for your object. I'll show you. I select this. I go to Windows, Node Editor. I create shape and edit object nodes. I add bend deformer to this object. If I want to move this object, I can, because this object connects to bend deformer. If I want to delete history and move object, and select the object and press this. Creating objects in Maya. There are 3 ways. First, Shift right click and select your object. Then from shelf or from create menu and object section. There's polygon, light, camera, and curve. Object attribute. Everything we create in Maya, whether it is related to modeling or animation, VFX, and the material, these have a series of options that we can control these options. We can modify these options in generally with channel box and more controlling with attribute editor. For example, I select this cylinder. I go to channel box for controlling cylinder attribute like control radius, height, and subdivision. And for access the material of this cylinder, I go to attribute editor light. You see the attributes for bones or particle. Curves in Maya. We have 4 types curve. First, EP curve or edit point, CV curve or control vertex curve, Bezier, and pencil curve. I start with EP curve. In create menu, EP curve, or in shell, EP curve. When you click, you can create your curve. CV curve. First, you create points and then creating your curve. I show you. CV curve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can control this from menu. CV curve. I want create with 3 points. 1, 2, 3. If you want to control your shape of your curve, you need hold right click mouse. You can edit your curve with curve point. You can control your shape curve with to these options. I will talk about editing curve tools. I create a circle. If you want to turn on interactive creation like me, you can draw. First tools is attach. I select the curves and attach together. When you double click on any tools in Maya, you can see the tool settings and mode on blend and apply. Detach curve. Select curve, the curve point, add point with click, add extra point with shift and click, and move your point on curve with holding middle mouse button. And now I detach. The next is insert knot. The next is extended curve. You select your curve, click on extended curve, and double click on these tools. 5 for distance. See, extended has option. I show you. The next is offset. Rebuild tools. The next is add point. Select your curve. Curve editing. Click on this. When you click on your curve, you can edit your curve with these handles. And the curve has another tools. From here and this menu, I click on this pop-up menu. Bend tools. And the next is scroll. When draw curve, it's important that the curve has many points. The next is smooth. I create a pencil and click on this. You see, it's smooth. And the next is straighten. Click it. It's straight. And the next is align. First point and end point. Okay. First point and end point. This tool align end point to start point of curve. The next tool is open and close. I want to use fillet. Hold right click mouse, curve point, add 2 points, and then fillet. And the next is cut. And the next is intersect. Cut and intersect have a different. Cut is for open curve, and the intersect is for closed curve. There are 3 tools for create model from curve. Select 2 curves, surface and loft. Remember, change topology to polygon in this option for polygon modeling. Polygon and quad and cont, that is subdivision of polygon. Loft connect 2 curves and create a surface. The next is resolve. Surface and resolve. Convert this to polygon. You go to modify, convert, and nerves to polygon in option, quad, con, and subdivision.
Okay, now this polygon connect to this yet. For example, I'll show you. See? If you don't disconnect polygon from this, you need delete history. You select the polygon and delete history. Select all curves. I go to surface. I click on boundary. See?
Polygon modeling in Maya. First, I want to talk about the most common commands that's used for modeling objects. First, combine. Select objects for becoming into one object. You can use this or right click and combine. And separate objects. Select, you see, come here, select and drag with middle mouse button. And the next interesting thing is Boolean. Boolean lets combine mesh objects together for creating base mesh. I select all, combine, and select object, Boolean from here, or right click and from here. They are Boolean operations. When you finish your work with Boolean, select object and then click history. And the next is smooth and radius. Smooth add division to your object. My friend, I have a video that I completely explained about a smooth, unsmooth, radius, remesh, and put the link top right. You can see for more information about these tools. Smooth or radius for decrease divisions. Editing objects. For editing object, you work with components in Maya. For select component, select your object, right click, edge, vertex, and face. These are components of object. Every component has own tools. I start with face. Before I start, I tell you about the selection. Here, this is go to face. This is a brush selection. You hold tab, you can select. When you brush on the selections, it be deselect. When you select edge and shift and double click on next edge, this is a loop edge. Select edge and shift double click to next edge, ring selection. Select edge and select here with shift, then double click to select area. It works for face. Another tool for selection is camera-based selection within on. The next is symmetry. Object X, Y, or Z. This is according to your axis. I select X. Go to vertex and select. This is according to local orientation. Select this. For change orientation, hold Ctrl Shift, right click and work. The next is selection constraint. Angle, select by angle, 90 degree. Edge loop. Go to edge, select with shift, or edge ring. The next is transfer constraint. See? It's not good. When you turn on edge, slide, or hold Ctrl Shift and move, vertex just move on edge. I want to talk about convert selection components. When I convert edge to face, I select to edge and shift right click, and hold right click and to face. I want this face to vertex, hold Control, right click and to vertex. In edge, select the edge, hold Control, right click and edge ring. Select edge and hold right click and hold Control and right click and edge loop. Now edit component. First, face. When you select the face and you want extrude, you can hold shift and move, or select and shift right click and extrude face. This is Z or offset, and this is X, speed of change. The fast or slow. Extrude, add polygons to an existing mesh. The next is face normal. When you select, first I show you something. In the black. This is not correct normal. Should select and Come to face normal and reverse normal. You see? Bevel. It expands each selected face and edge into a new face. Bevel face. When you select your face, and shift right click and a bevel face. See, add a segment over here. Bevel face. Merge face. When you select all faces, it merges all face to center. Circularize face. Convert your selected faces to perfect geometric circle. Detach. Select your face and right click and detach. You see? Or the next is duplicate face. And the next is extract. Select face and extract. I want to tell you a tip. When you're using detach, your object is one object. But when you're using extract element become new object. The next tool is mirror. The axis should be in the center of object, and I set up with pivot. Mirror to object, and Z axis and plus. Edge components and its tools. Extrude edge. And the next is bevel. Bevel edge. For delete edge, when you select this, there is two ways. Press delete. When you press delete, the vertex remain on object. If you don't want, select your object and control backspace. Insert edge. Select and offset edge. See, offset edge. Insert edge loop and press Q and slide edge tools. Bridge. Select edge. Shift right click and bridge. See, add division, or you can twist or be linear or blend.
And the next is fill hole. And fill hole. And detach. Select edge. And detach. When you select, see, it extracts. It is one object. Vertex component and its tools. First is merge vertex to center. See? And target weld. See? Select edge and chamfer vertex. And I select this face and use circularize tools. I want to talk about multi-cut tools. When you hold Ctrl Shift and X, you have a tool for insert edge with hold Ctrl, or you can add edge free, or you can add vertex and hit enter. And when you hold Shift, you can add vertex in the center. And when you add vertex and hold Ctrl Shift, you have a roller, better connect. And when you hold Ctrl Shift and right click, you have a slice or add edge. Deformers in Maya. Deformers help us to change general shape of objects and introduce some of these tools that are useful for modeling projects. Deform menu and click this line, curve warp. Select object, click on curve warp and go to attribute, and then hold middle mouse button and to drag to curve. And now change the offset and you see that the box deform by curve. The next is a lattice. This deform your object by points. Lattice. And we specify division of lattice from attribute editor. And then when you finish your work with Deformer, delete history. Select object. The next is shrink warp. This project object on another object. I show you. Select this object and select this. Next is bend. You can bend your object by changing curvature from attribute editor.
Now you can change direction of bending by axis of curvature in center of object. Flare deformer. UV in Maya. What is UV? UV translates 3D object to 2D coordinates. That when I put images on 3D object and create a material, it specifies that it is fabric, plastic, concrete, and stuff like that. UVs include UV space, island, and seams. What is UV space? UV space is where the islands placed. Islands, these are the translation of 3D objects into 2D coordinates that are placed in UV space. Seams, these are the edges of the UV island that define how a 3D model is unwrapped and textured. When you create a model, it's important you have a quad for edge loop because it's very important for seams. As you see, this object don't have any edge loop, but you can use your object in manually and create seams. How to see UV space in Maya? From UV menu and UV editor. And you select the object, you see UV space and island. We have two types UV. One is a map projection, that is automatic UV. From UV menu, you see this like automatic, camera base, cylinder, planar, or spherical. In second type, we UV the object manually, which I show you later. That you can UV your own object with this method because it's so easy. Let's do it.
Now I want to show you how to UV your object. First, map projection. For this object, you can use map projection and you can do manually, okay?
texture and material in Maya. There are three definitions: texture, material, and shader. Textures are a set of image files, as you can see here, that is created material, and we control features of material by shader. Now, I want to talk about these image files. Roughness. It is determining how light interacts with a surface. A surface can be glassy or semi-glass. AO or ambient occlusion, a shadowing technique used to make 3D object look more realistic by simulating the soft shadows. Displacement, create depths on surface. There is important things. Your surface must be high poly mesh and normal. Normal maps are a type of bump map that it can add detail on surface. Unlike that displacement, they don't need be high poly. Let's go to inside Maya and I show you how to create a material and how to edit the material. For create and edit material, we use Hypershade from here, Hypershade, or from Windows menu, Render, Editors, and Hypershade. Here you have panels. Browse, you see created material, you create material, texture, or utility, graph network editor for material, material preview, and property editor for control parameters of shader, and texture utility in Hypershade. For create material, you have to wait first from Hypershade and right click. In Hypershade, you can click or create material from create panel, hold middle mouse button, create material, and press tab and write Vray MTL and click. And the second way is select your object, hold right click mouse button and assign new material, select material and assign to this object. For assign material, you can select your object, right click and assign created material or assign favorite material, or from Hypershade, select object or objects, hold right click mouse button and assign material to viewport selection. To access material attributes for editing parameters, from Hypershade and select material, or you can select object and right click and material attribute, or you can right click without selection on your object and material attributes, and you can change shader parameters. Now, I want to talk about the Vray MTL shader. It is related to base color of your material, opacity, it is related to transparency, and it is grayscale, black and white, texture, reflection. You can specify glossy of your object, semi-glossy, and matte. And you can add a map for all of these options. Reflection color and intensity of reflection and intensity of glassiness, how glassy it is and how matte. And metalness. Count. You can control sharpness of reflection. In basic parameter, self-illumination, You can create like the lamp and refraction. You can create glass matte or full glass with color, and you can assign texture. And sheen is for creating cloth, and bump that add detail on your object. I will tell you about assigning material to components like face. Select your object, go to base component, the hypershade, select face, and hold right click mouse button and assign material. If you want get material from object, select your object and click on this. I want to create PBR material with Vray shaders. How to insert texture to graph network? To the texture, click on File. From here, image name, you can insert your texture, or you can insert your texture by dragging from Explorer to Shading Network Graph. This purple node is for controlling your texture, like repeated texture, rotate, and offset. Now I want to control all these texture with one purple node. That is easy for control of textures. I connect Alt UV to UV cord of textures. Now I want to mix base color or albedo with ambient or collision with Vray layered texture. And connect normal texture to bump map input of Vray material. Select map type to normal map in tangent space in bump mapping. And now connect roughness texture to reflection color. Select this, and alpha is luminance. Light and rendering in Maya. When you install it, Vray rendered engine, you need enable in Maya. From here, Windows, Setting, and Plugin Manager, and right here Vray. Vray, and then active all of these options. Okay, then you will see Vray menu and shelf. Now I want to talk about light in Vray. First is a dome light. It is environment light that it can be used for HDRI lighting. Let's show you. Select Dome Light from Texture. For control your HDRI, you come here with two options, horizontal rotation and vertical rotation. Flip, vertical and horizontal flip. Light in Maya has a common basic parameter: color, temperature, and intensity. Color and temperature and intensity. Color, you specify a color. Temperature, you specify Kelvin. Intensity, specifying power of light. This is infinity plane, okay? You see that? Click on this. This is HDRI lighting. Rectangle light. When you use a Vray physical camera, it is important that you use units of light because it helps to have better light calculation. Size. You specify width and height. Back to rectangle. For change a scale of light, use these options, okay? Directional. It concentrates light. And you can control cone, length of cone. Light mesh. This causes that object illuminate like light, but if number of this be more, it causes that time render increases. The next is IS file. What is IS file? These lights are turned on according to a specified profile. Let's show you. I want to talk about a sun and a sky. You can create from shelf, but it's better create from render setting. Change render engine to Vray. Go to Overrides tab, Environment, create sun and create a sky.
select sun.
Now inside Vray, you can have a cloud. Here, intensity. This is a power of your sunlight. Turbidity. It is amount of dust in air. Ozone. Affecting sunlight. Camera in Maya. First, for create a camera, this is target and this is a camera. And camera move around this target. Select your camera. I want free camera, control, and camera. In camera setting, now we need to convert this camera to Vray camera. From here, attribute, Vray and physical camera. And go down here, extra Vray attribute. And there are some options that is important, like f-number and ISO and shutter. These are for controlling brightness of light that enter to camera. Okay, let's show you. And the next is DOF. For see camera view, go here, panel, perspective, and select the camera. Render. As you see, our sense is dark, and we need from camera setting and work with ISO and shutter. Turn on object detail from display menu, and we need this option, distance from camera. I want to talk about render setting. Here, the command, you can specify size of your render, Vray. You have two sampler type, progressive, that good for test render, and the bucket is good for final render. Here we specify quality of render. Now I want to render this object. Okay, set up light and set up stereo for this. As you see, this is final render. This is DOF. You can have color correction in Vray, frame, buffer. Thank you for being with me so far. If it was useful for you, please introduce it to your friends and don't forget to subscribe me, like the video, and leave a comment or question.